Talks about the unity around the club, and a great feature of David Moyes' Everton teams, as you know, was the team spirit and the unity. How much did you learn from your time at Everton about the importance of team spirit and how you create it, and how much have you put into creating this Arsenal team?
A lot. He was a key figure in my career as a player, and someone that I look back and try to take a lot of things as a manager. What he created at Everton, in that dressing room, it was absolutely phenomenal, because the level of ability that we had, it wasn't the ability of success that we achieved. That's for sure.
I'm sure you're being too modest there, but another aspect of, I know Wayne Rooney had left by the time you joined Everton, but David also brought through a lot of young players at Everton and put a lot of trust in them. Again, is that something you learned, and again, what do you have to give to young players in order to make them believe they can do what your players have done this season?
The similarity is the environment. So they can have the talent, and then they need the trust of the manager and the coaching staff that are willing to take the risk with him. That's one, very important. And the second one, they need the right environment to support them, to give them confidence, the right senior players, an environment that they feel safe and able to, in some occasions, fail and go back and try again.
Who's the Mikel Arteta in your dressing room?
In mine?
Right now, who plays your role?
Nobody, because I don't go to the dressing room a lot, so they have to be themselves.
With regards to David, he seems quite a calm man on the touchline, and I don't think he always was at Goodison when he was younger. Is that something, do you think, that just comes with age and wisdom and fatigue from these roller coaster games, sometimes not to get too involved in?
Probably, and that maturity and that experience, and I think age brings a lot of things. He's a bit different to how he was before, that's for sure. But David has his character, and he's able to use it in a really efficient way.
Do you see yourself getting calmer in time?
Hopefully, yes. I don't want to go worse than I am now, that's for sure.
And with regards to qualifying for the Champions League, we saw some incredible games in midweek, and you seem to remember a few months ago you said it was a bit of a nightmare having to watch Champions League football when you weren't in it. But we saw this week just what these games are, and high-profile games. Is that, if you needed an extra incentive, or your players did, to see games like that going on, the Real Madrid one?
Yeah, and the level and the quality that these games are played at, it's just incredible. I think it's getting better. Every single year you looked at the game that we all watched between City and Real Madrid, it was absolutely phenomenal, but the week before it was the same, so we want to be there.
If you win tomorrow, you'll definitely finish 6th, which means you'll definitely be in Europe. Was getting into Europe at the start of the season, was that the target for the club?
Well, we wanted to be back in Europe, that's for sure, and once we are able to do that, if we are, that will be a step. But obviously, where we are right now, we have other aims as well.
But obviously, being in Europe brings completely different challenges. As you said, you've taken advantage of this situation this season, but next season, with the squad you have, it will need to be bigger, won't it?
Yeah, we are aware of that with the actual squad, and as well some of the contractual situation that we have is not manageable. So we cannot have the capacity to share minutes and maintain the level of quality that we require. So obviously that's part of the plan.
Nick.
Hi.
The United game was obviously quite wild, but you came out the right side of it, and I think you called it a rollercoaster afterwards. In the next 5 games, would you settle for 5 roller coasters, or do you want a bit more control over that?
Hopefully not. But the last games of the season, they tend to go a little bit like that. For the fatigue of the player, for the stress, for different elements, it's possible. So we have to be able to handle that chaos as well, if it happens to be.
How do you feel on the side in a game when you obviously plan meticulously, you want your team to control as much as you can, and then you see chaos, as you put it, kind of unfolding? How do you react? And what can you do as well?
Well, it's something that is part of of our training, part of the plan that we have in every game, that how we control that situation, how we take that situation into our favor. But there are in football a lot of things that are very unpredictable, and we need to know how to react to them.
Matt?
Mikel, since New Year's Day, you've won 6 of the 8 games Thomas Partey's played. and only 2 of the 8 that he hasn't played. Could you just put some deeper analysis onto why he's been such an influential figure on your results?
Well, the stats are there, and they're unquestionable. The winning rate when Thomas is there, it's much higher, and it's something that is not good for us because, unfortunately, in the last 2 seasons, his availability has not been where we want. So it's something that, again, we have to consider and we have to improve. And it's with the players that we have, using them in a different way, changing formation, finding ways to try to improve that.
What I'm trying to get at is what makes him such an influential player. What aspect of his game?
Well, first of all, the specificity he has to play in that role on his own, the quality that he brings, the experience that he brings, and the fact that that he gives things that are unique for the model that we want, and then we can accommodate players in other positions that for us are more relevant and they can determine games in the way that we want.
And you see the sort of player, given what's at stake and how important he is, to put his body on the line in the coming weeks to try and get back to play some part at the end of the
He's already done that. It wouldn't be anything new. He's been always pushing every time he's been injured, and sometimes he pushed himself too far and then he got injured again. But he is there. He is willing to help this season again. We don't know if that's going to be possible, but if he's not, for sure it's not going to be because his lack of intention to do so.
Ollie?
Hi, Mikel.
Hi.
Obviously, the formula over the past couple of games has gone really well, but is it something that you see that can carry on for the rest of the season, or will you have to change against opponents that probably won't come out and play as quite as much as maybe the Chelsea and Man United did?
Yes, there are different games, different approaches, and we have changed our approach as well in those 2 matches because we expected Chelsea's game to be completely different to United's, which it was the case, and West Ham's is going to be different. So every game will require specific and different things to others without losing who we are.